Hello everyone and welcome. I'm Connie Douglas from Great Stamping with Connie, and this is lunch break, time where we take a little break in the middle of our probably busy day. Certainly mine has been busy, and yours probably has been too, but it's nice to pause for a little break, and I'm hoping to share some inspiration with you, some easy crafting ideas, some fun layouts, things that you can easily replicate on your own in your own craft room, and make some beautiful handmade cards. So thank you for stopping by today. If you are joining me live or watching the replay, please do leave me a comment and let me know that you're here. And I'm just going to scroll down on this guy and see if I can find us. There we go. Okay, so as I mentioned, it has been a busy day so far. It was busy, started yesterday, is continuing today, and it's going to go on for a few days for sure, at least maybe a week or two, depending when I can get some time. But I am moving back into the craft studio, so it is not finished. But the walls are up, the walls are painted. We moved some furniture yesterday so that MSH can paint the rest of the floor. We're just painting the floor for now. We have a raised floor, so we're not right on the concrete, but we're just painting it. We're not actually putting flooring down just yet, partly because of budget constraints and partly because we don't know what we want to do, and there's a few other things that he wants to get finished before spring arrives and we get back into cottage season. So we decided that paint would be quick and easy, and it will cover up some of the mess that was there from the construction, but it will work for now. So it looks really nice. It's sort of a chipboard floor, but it's painted. It's all one color. So you know what? I'm super happy with it. And as I say, we started to move some furniture back in, and now I am trying to organize. And of course, all of my my cubes that had been set up and I sort of knew what was where, they've all been rearranged. So now I'm moving drawers and trying to decide what I want and how I want. And the next challenge is going to be to decide where to put my camera stuff, my video things for doing my lives and that. They've been all over the place. I have brought my my desk downstairs from upstairs. My work desk, I guess, my business desk. The desk that I had upstairs in our spare bedroom, because I used to do my computer work upstairs and my craft work downstairs. But since I've gone virtual, they've sort of become one and the same, and I need my computer downstairs an awful lot. So I sort of moved everything down here into temporary table space and everything a little while ago, but now I have actually moved the desk down here. But the desk isn't, it's not wide. It's a desk that I had as a child, and my dad built onto it and made it into something that I thought was fantastic, and it still works really well. It's got some good storage in it, so I love it for that. So I have continued to use it, but I don't know that I can get the computer stuff there and the craft stuff and work that out. So then I was thinking I might use this table and this setup that I have been using here, just shift it into the craft studio, but depending where I put it, I might have a window behind me, and you know, on and on. So I'm going to have to play with that for a little bit. But anyway, that's not why you're here, is it? So I'm a little excited. New craft space, or fixed up craft space. It's very exciting. So at the risk of possibly making you seasick, I will give you a little shot into some of the craft space on our way to crafting here. So close your eyes for a moment while I flip the camera here and move it around. There we go. So can we see over? So there is into the craft studio. That is the desk I was mentioning. It's black wood furniture, and it goes right from the wall on the right side over to where you can see the white cabinets there starting, along with all the other stuff that's in the doorway there. But anyway, but I have a great big bulletin board that's going to go right over my desk, which will be awesome for pinning stuff on. And then, of course, there's my lovely Valentine roses that have been living in my craft studio since Valentine's Day, because I have cats, and you know, they get into things these days. Oh my goodness, those cats drive me kind of batty sometimes, but I do love them. They are cute, which is good. It's what saves them, I think. Okay, so just going to do this, and then I touched something over here and lost everything. So just going to get that. I guess I could come. Hi, Donna. Yes, it's coming along. I just have to get everything moved back. The other end, which I didn't show you, has boxes stacked everywhere. So I'm working on it. I'm organizing and trying to get things in place, but it's it's a little bit of work because apparently I have a lot of stuff. So okay, so let's get to some crafting. So, you know, it's interesting. Sometimes I have an idea in my mind of what I want to do for lunch break or some of my other lives, but, you know, sometimes it's sort of, it's kind of last minute. It's like, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? And so far, I've been so fortunate that inspiration has been there right when I need it. Sometimes in, you know, something I see looking out the window, or maybe a magazine picture, or something, even just a flyer that's come to the house. Sometimes something I've seen scrolling on, you know, Facebook or whatever. You never know. But today, my inspiration did in fact come from scrolling around on the internet. It came from another fellow demonstrator, Mary Knab, who had a layout that I have done in the past, but it wasn't on my radar to do today. So I thank her for reminding me of this layout that that she showed and that I have used, and we'll go back and do it again. I haven't ever done it on lunch break. It might be brand new to some of you. So yes, that's the hard part. Can't remember exactly what you were referring to there, Donna, but I'm thinking perhaps what to put where or something along those lines. So, okay, so I have an early espresso card base, and this one is done cut landscape. I had it in my card base bin, and I thought, well, that will work just fine. So I do have another one that is portrait. I will show you that for the second card, because when you cut your designer series paper for this, you end up with enough to make 2 cards, which is awesome because, you know, half a sheet of cardstock, if it's cut the same way anyway, and you're not using ones previously cut, but half a sheet of cardstock will make 2 card bases. And I always suggest that, you know, when you're crafting, craft 2, it doesn't really take any longer to stamp the image twice and to, you know, cut some of the pieces twice and that sort of thing. So always great idea. Then you have a card to send and a card to keep for the future, or a card to use as an example. But this one, the designer series paper, definitely will help you create 2 cards. So those are my card bases, and then I have 2 pieces of Very Vanilla that measure 5 1/4 by 4. And then we have 2 pieces of designer series paper that were 3 3/4 by 5. And I am using, I'm just going to slide these out a little bit. I am using the Neutrals card or designer series paper, which looks like this. So there it is in the early espresso. And then the other one I chose was Crumb Cake. So you can probably see what we're going to do with this card already. I have made these cards and I have left gaps in them, kind of like the layout here. or this one maybe is a little bit straighter. This one didn't get exactly straight, but for today we are going to have all of our edges touch. So if they're going to touch, we definitely want to switch some things around. So I am going to take 2 pieces from here and swap them out with 2 pieces from here. And now I'm sure you can see how this is all going to come together. There we go. So we're going to do 2 cards like that, and I don't know which one I want which way. I don't think it really matters, so we are just going to sort of push this to the side a little bit and turn him to the orientation that we're going to have, and then we are going to put him together. So it's I'll say the one little tricky part, and you could do it this way as well. Oh, let's take a peek. Maybe we want to switch some of these around. Like that. Just for something fun. Maybe I'll do that. Okay. 2-sided paper, you always have choices. So, and then the cards won't be the same, even though they're not even the same orientation. But I'm just going to glue this down. I am using liquid glue. And I just want to leave, so I'm going to set this piece on the top about where I think it would go. And then I can just kind of see if my points are touching. Hopefully it will all line up. This is the slightly tricky part. Right? The other thing you can do is you can make your base cardstock a little bit bigger than you want, and then you just kind of trim it so that it's even on both edges. It's a little bit of a hack on how to make your borders the same. I find that tough though. My eyes play games with me about what is straight and what is on an angle. So hopefully this all comes together. So I've just lined that up. Might be a little low here, am I? A little bit out of the camera. Lined that up, touching, and then the hope, of course, is that it all goes together in the end. It's looking, it still looks straight on my border, so I think we got it going well here. The crafting gods are smiling on me. Just gonna plunk that down in there, slide it in. There we go. So there's one. I'm just going to set that on there for a moment, and we might as well just glue this guy down while we're at it. So I will do the same thing again. I'm just going to put this on the edge where I think I would put it. And then I can put my points together in the center there. And if my border is even, looks pretty good, it should hopefully come together. Might be just a smidge low. There we go. Okay. We'll keep our fingers crossed and see what we get. Oops. So I am, our Synchro Club is back in the pool. So on Sundays now, I will have synchro practice again, synchronized swimming, artistic swimming as it is now called. Many of us oldies still refer to it as synchronized swimming, but it is officially called artistic swimming. But in any case, our club is now back in the pool. So on Sundays, I will be traveling down to Toronto for practices, but that means I need to refresh myself on our routines because we haven't been swimming for, I think about 7 weeks now. So it's like, oh my goodness. And we were just, these are all new routines that we were just starting this fall. So they certainly were not ingrained in my brain. And so now I have to remember them. I have to learn them all over again is really what it's going to amount to. But anyway, so there are, those are our first layers. And then I have a piece of Very Vanilla to stamp my sentiment on. And I decided that I would just go with Thinking of You for today. I make cards for a couple of churches for them to send out. And they just like a nice generic sort of thinking of you. So I took about 50 cards down to the church in Markham a couple of weeks ago when I was down there. And so now I need to replenish so that I can take them some more at some point. And I thought these would be, in these colors and things, these would be nice masculine type cards. So ones that are suitable to send to some of the men that they send cards to. So that was why I decided on that. And I am resorting to, you know, the ever handy tailored tag punch. Look at that. I only stamped one sentiment. Do as I say, not as I do. Okay. I even made sure I had enough cardstock in all my preparations to do 2. But anyway, messed that up. Okay, so, you know, just to make it look like I meant to do things differently, I'm going to use Still Thinking of You, but a different one that I pulled out, since I pulled out 2. And yes, that's why I only stamped one at a time. Of course, I had it all planned this way, right? Okay, maybe not. Give this guy a punch. There we go. So today is February 17th, and celebration only goes until the end of February, February 28th. So there's not a whole lot of time left to grab your freebies, but there is still some time left. But now is the time to stock up on consumable items, things that you are going to need, you know, over the next 3 to 6 months. You might as well stock up on as many of those as you're able to right now, because you can get something for free if you do. So then you have them when you need them. They're right there ready for you. But you also got a celebration gift for free when you did that. So not much better than free. Because the bottom line is they're probably not going to find anybody to pay you to take their craft supplies from them. But, you know, if you can, let me know. There we go. There's one. And we'll get the second one on here. So these are, they are not fancy cards. They are easy cards, but they, you know, you can use different designer series paper, and you can use different sentiments. So just if you want to make, if you're doing anything at all where you need a number of cards, if you want to do a bunch of thank you cards or something, this would be awesome for your layout, because it's got a little interest with the you know, the triangles. So okay, we will just get these on here, get these put together, and then I have a little variation on this theme that I will share with you, and I will show you as well how I cut the paper. It's not difficult, but just have a few little tips on it, so we'll get to that in just a moment. go. These will also need an inside layer, so I would use some Very Vanilla on the inside, just so you can write inside it. Now, you don't have to put your sentiment right in the middle, but you have these lovely little grid lines or triangle lines to follow to get things centered quite nicely. And so I think that I will, in fact, put these in the middle, but of course popped up on dimensionals. Go. And I need to try and learn. Some people use their pokey tool and they grab these and they get them. See, I can get one, but then after that, I flick, and so I'm not sure it's actually faster by the time I finish playing with it. But sometimes people can just, I've seen them get the pokey tool in there and they, oh, look, there I got two. Yeah, not sure this is any faster, but it might be if I practice, but I should probably practice when I'm not live, so that you don't have to watch me try and get all these little papers off of here. There we go. The tried and true method of picking them off with your fingernail. Okay, so I have lots of lines here to follow, so to see that we're getting that on straight. There we go. And this one we will put right about there. There we go. Look at that. 2 cards, quick and easy. Absolutely perfect for a masculine themed card. And then we could of course add a little bit of, not so much bling, but some embellishment, just to give it. These are the Pebbles enamel shapes. I think this is cinnamon cider. I'm not sure it's quite the right color, although I could put it up there and then it just sort of coordinates, doesn't it? Maybe just a couple on there. Or what else do we have in here? We could do Very Vanilla. These are all Very Vanilla from the Classic Matte Dots. And I have lots of them, where I have none of the white ones left. There's also gray and black, but obviously the card is brown tones, so that's not what we're after. So maybe, what do you think? Some Very Vanilla? Maybe one of each. How's that? Then we don't have to make a decision. Okay, so we'll do the Very Vanilla on this guy. I'm just gonna plunk these guys down on here. There we go, just a little bit like that. And then maybe we'll put a couple of these Pebbles. Okay, so this guy is super stuck here. There we go. I might have to. Yeah. Then there's the question of which direction do you want your pebble, because they these are sort of ovalish long, aren't they? There we go. Okay, I think that will. It's not the same color, but I think that it coordinates okay. And I have probably not. Oh, my #1 rule: don't ever leave your pokey tool uncovered, because they're very pokey and they hurt if they roll off the table and land on you or anything like that. So there we go. There's a couple of quick and easy cards of the more masculine variety. Okay, so then the second card that I wanted to share with you, same idea, same sort of layout, but a little different size designer series paper. So these pieces are 2 1/4 by 5.5. So a little bit longer and a little bit narrower. But same thing, we're going to cut them corner to corner, same way. And that's where I wanted to just share a little bit of a tip with you. So corner to corner, you just line the corners up in the groove of your trimmer, and then you're going to go corner to corner. But when you are cutting corners like that, cutting corners, you want to start in the middle of your paper, whether it's cardstock or designer series paper. Start in the middle, go up and go down, because if you come into that corner, you tend to smush it, and so you want to just make sure that you're starting in the middle. Now this part is just a tiny bit tricky, so you want to sort of put your paper back together or hold it back together, and then line it up with the other corners in the trough, the cutting trough. So it just takes a little moment longer to make sure you've got everybody lined up properly. Same thing again, I am going to start in the middle and go up and go down. And then you have your 4 pieces cut like that. Okay, so just quickly again, corner to corner, start cutting in the middle, and then turn the whole thing. So you're doing the other corners, and you want to make sure your designer series paper is being held as if it were not cut yet. It's the easiest way to get your corner to corner cut through the middle, because they're not square. If they were square, you could work with measurements, but this is the quickest and easiest way to get it where you want it when it's rectangles. There we go. Okay, so bring these over here, and we're going to swap out 2 and 2 again. What's on the back? Oh yes, same patterns. So maybe we will we'll do 2 backwards again. I think maybe these long guys this time, and then do the short guys, oops, like that. Okay, so for this piece, because it is narrower, I have cut my mat, obviously a different size, so it is 2.5 inches wide, because this was 2 1/4, so I've gone to 2.5, but it's still just the 5.5 because that's the length of our card. So this is just going to be a border down the edges, which in some ways makes putting it together a little bit easier, because we'll start with the bottom piece, which will go right up against the bottom of the cardstock. We just need to leave an even border on each edge. And we need to get our triangles as straight as we can, but I'm going to flip this around the other way so I can see this edge easily. Get my space on either side at the bottom the same. Line my triangles up in the middle, or my points. There we go. And then hopefully these pieces fit in. So this is Mossy Meadow and Smoky Slate, and my background piece is, of course, basic black. Oops. Okay. So I didn't quite get those cuts the same. I have a little bit of black showing through there. So somehow those cuts were not as nice as on my brown piece. But this one seems to fit. Maybe it's how I glued it down. Maybe I didn't get it glued quite square. But we're just going to kind of squish it together. And then we're just going to give it a nice rub on the back, and it will be fine. So there we go. I'm just, I won't take the time to do the second one right now, but it would be the same as the first one. So just wanted to show you how I cut it. And you can step these up as well. Because I have more cardstock showing, I decided that I would emboss my background piece. So this is 5 1/4 by 4 standard base layer, but I've embossed it with the bricks embossing folder. And then I have a smoky slate card base that I will use. I could have used basic black as well. I'm just looking at this now, but anyway, it's smoky slate for this one because that's what I have here. And so I am just going to adhere this. Again, I'm going to use my liquid glue on this because it is embossed. So the adhesive, the tape runner, sometimes sits up on top of the high points in your embossing, and then it doesn't adhere very well. Which is awesome if you need to pull it apart because you get it on crooked, but not so good if it's on straight and you want your card to stay together really nicely. So I tend to use liquid glue if I have embossed my cardstock. There we go. And now this next piece is going to go, I really messed that up, didn't I? Should have done this without a base layer, I think. Look at that, because that's just a little funky, isn't it? However, I have another card base here, so I will do something different for that one. And you can always make your designer series paper 5 1/4 instead of 5 1/2, and then it wouldn't be like that. But this will work like this. And you could always emboss this, or you could stamp this with just some line stamping, tone on tone, or something along those lines. But for now, we are just going to put this together this way. And you can put this anywhere you want. You could do it right down the center. I think I'm going to do it over to the edge just a little bit. I often go towards an edge because then nobody's going to look at this and go, oh, she tried to put that in the middle, but she missed, because it's very obviously not in the middle. So there we go. And then I have smoky slate for my sentiment. And again, I'm just going to do another Thinking of You. And I pulled out the Mossy Meadow ink for this one. Mossy Meadow used to be one of my constant go-to greens because it's dark and it's bold and it's intense, and I really liked it. I tend to use Evening Evergreen a little bit more these days because it too is a gorgeous green. And I would never tell you that green is my favorite color, but I do like a lot of the greens that we have in our color palette these days, with the Evening Evergreen and the Soft Succulent in the in colors that we have right now. So, did I get that? You know, some days just don't go as well as other days for some things, do they? If you're going to stamp something that you're going to punch, it's important that you, maybe I'm talking too much. I'm distracted, yes. Put it in the middle so that you can get the sentiment in the middle of your punch, which I clearly had not done, but that's okay. We have two-sided cardstock, so it's all good. Okay, get this guy punched out. Now we have room for him in the center of the punch. Okay. And I had previously cut or punched a basic black tailored tag so that I could use it for my frame. We'll just get him attached. Whoops. There we go. Okay, and then, now look, it's not, I have a little bit hanging over there. Just snip that off. And then this, I think I might actually put out the edge just a little bit, just to be different. I should probably trim this guy a little bit too, shouldn't I? There we go. That'll probably be a little bit better now that everybody's lined up. And I'm not even going to try the pokey tool this time. I will save that for when I am crafting and not live. See if I can get it figured out. I'll put that right about there. There we go. And then, let's see, for this one, I think we'll use, so we have gray, we have black. This is basic gray, so it's darker than the smoky slate, so it would show up. Or we could just go right to black. And then we have to decide where to put it. Maybe I'll just put a couple on either side of this again, because I think that worked. And so I think I will go with the black. Just put those on here. There we go. So there is the same idea. Just a little bit different sizing, and you can do these in any size you want, really. Doesn't have to be these two sizes. It can be whatever you wish, and you just make a mat, and then you can kind of go for it. So there we go. I am just going to bring us back here. So get you down and flip around. Sorry, hope I'm not making anyone seasick. There we go. So that is today's lunch break. It's something, a little different pattern than we've done in some of the recent ones. Something not quite square, but still easy to cut. And hopefully that little demonstration I gave you showed you how to cut angles quickly, and well, maybe not too quickly, but easily anyway. And just always remember to start in the middle if you're cutting corner to corner so you don't damage your paper. So thank you very much for joining me today. I love having you here and chatting and visiting. So I hope you have an awesome rest of the day, and we will see you again really soon. Bye for now.